It's true that now bond yields are approaching record lows or at record lows around the world, but that is a reflection of a low growth, low inflation environment where markets aren't seeing inflationary threats going out 20 and 30 years. So we're neutral to that view at this point.
Okay, now Deutsche Bank has come out this morning and said the yield curve in the States suggests that there's now a 60% chance of a US recession occurring in the next 12 months. Do you agree with that?
Well, we've always been more pessimistic on the growth story in the U.S., and that's not to say that it hasn't been an okay story. It's just not been a great story to the extent that the Fed is going to be hiking rates in 2016. I think in today's world, markets are pricing in now more of a continue low growth story. Whether we're in a recessionary environment in the future, I think that's a bigger call than I would say at this point. But on Friday, we're going to get some payrolls data, so we'll see where the economy is. It's certainly been slowing relative to what we've seen over the last few years, but I don't think we're in an environment where we're going to see recession in the U.S. There's no data to support that, at least at this point.
Well, what are you looking for on Friday when it comes to the NFPs?
Well, we've seen payroll numbers averaging just below 200,000 over the last few years, and I would expect that we're going to be in that range, and that'll be a dramatic improvement over what we've seen over the last few months. And it's likely that markets won't react much to a number that's in the high 100,000 range, but that's what we would expect.
You know, we've got US yields and UK yields for the gilts, as I mentioned earlier, at the lowest point that we've seen, you know, on record. We've got Swiss yields negative all the way out to 50 years right now. We've got British, German, Japanese yields at or if they're not at, very close to the lowest on record. When you look at the global bond market, where do you see opportunities?
There's not a lot of value. There's really two areas that we see value. One is you got to go to the high yielding countries. That's Australia and New Zealand at this point. Australian yields have also rallied. 10-year Australian yields are right now only about 1.85%. But then you can buy investment grade credit, high quality names, unlikely to default, where you can pick up yields in Australia in the 3% range. And really that's the best you can do in this type of environment if you want to get your money back.